Hi everybody, Dan Ullman, Matt Bernier, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Wednesday, October the 18th. Race number 8 at beautiful Belmont Park. We're traveling 7 furlongs. It's a New York-bred entry-level allowance. Let's take a peek at this field. Remember to head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com. Download your free Formulator past performances and handicap along with us as we take this field in post-position order. And the number 1 is Peak Performance, and Peak Performance is going to be a fairly big price on the tote board, 10-1 on the morning line for Paco Lopez and Terry Pompey. Yet, the last time this horse stepped on dirt, earned a competitive 79 Beyer speed figure, and the turf to dirt move has proven successful in the past.
Yeah, you just have to go back earlier this year. You look at that run going from Monmouth July the 9th into that August the 4th race. You had a win next out going from the turf to the dirt. I guess the biggest problem is this horse, the victories have come in conditioned races where you're looking at non-winners of 2, beaten claimers, non-winners of 3, and then a beaten race, 2 starts back, 2 victories back anyway. This is one of those instances you're going to see a little bit of speed. I don't think he's quite this good.
I think that's a very good point. That's what I was going to ask you. How much of a difference are those conditioned claimers at Monmouth compared to these restricted state-bred allowance horses? And boy, I think these are much tougher, although that 79 Beyer speed figure is at least something in the hip pocket.
And that's one of the things. If you're looking at it strictly from a numbers standpoint, this horse makes a little bit of sense, especially at a big number. Even with a field like this that's taken turns not beating one another, but running against one another, I still think they're just better than the horses he's faced.
You also mentioned, though, that he does have some early pace, and as our friends at Timeform US say with the Timeform US pace predictor, Peak Performance is going to be right up there. And you see by that blue bar, our friends at Timeform believe that this race will favor horses on or near the early lead. Next door neighbor number 2, Bluegrass Express, figures to be on the lead. He's another one that just beat conditioned claimers. This one at Parks with a 71 Beyer speed figure. If this scenario works out, he might be able to take this field a long way, but I do get the feeling this is a big step up in class. I mean, he was 61-1 against similar horses at Saratoga.
He's light on Beyers, he's light on the Timeform situation, but I got to be honest too, we talk about the difference between the conditioned claimers and these state-bred allowance ranks. At the same time, you're at least looking at horses that are in good form. You know that they're running good competitive races. Some of these other horses that we've seen time and time again, they're one for however many. At some point, they just kind of fall into that pattern where they like to lose races.
One for however many is the number 3 Benevolence, who has to be a bit of a source of frustration for trainer Kieran McLaughlin. Only 1 for 15 lifetime. He earned a big fig 4 starts back, an 88 Beyer speed figure, and I thought he ran well that day. Second behind favored Cars to Surprise. The 3rd and 4th place finishers came back to win. In his next start, just missed by a head. Time after that, thought he caught a speed favoring track and tried to rally from last. Then they tried blinkers. That experiment didn't last much. There's a case to be made that this horse is in sneaky good form, but when I see that 1 for 15, it scares me.
The other thing that I have a problem with anyway, you go back to when he broke his maiden in July of last year at Saratoga, gate to wire fashion. There's no chance that he's making a lead in here unless there's just something ridiculous that happens. And I'm always leery about these kind of horses that your only victories come when you're forwardly placed, and you're not projected to be forwardly placed in this race.
I'm a little bit interested in the number 4 Bourbon Empire, who started his career with a little bit of buzz for trainer Mark Henning, winning at Belmont Park first time out as a 20-1 chance at 4-1. Couple turf races, couple route races on his page. His sprint races are all good. The question is, can he stay within range early? He doesn't have a lot of early speed.
He might be a little bit compromised from a pace dynamic. You look at that most recent run-up at Saratoga, though, he at least has faced better company. The runner-up Heavy Metal came back to win next out with an 81. The 4th place finisher going long next out earned an 85 Beyer. So as far as class is concerned, I think he fits in here very, very well. I'm very concerned about the pace.
Fleet Irish got hung out in a wide trip last time out, going 7 furlongs at Saratoga. I think it's worth noting that he's run some good races at Belmont Park. 3 starts back, receiving a career best Beyer speed figure in 84 and finishing 2nd. Maybe all it takes for this horse to improve is getting back to Belmont, and he's got a bullet workout over the main track leading up to this race.
Yeah, I can't argue with anyone that looks at it and says he's the kind of horse for course or his best races come at Belmont. My problem is if I'm concerned about the pace for Bourbon Empire, I have to be concerned about the pace for Fleet Irish.
Now, Terry O'Jerry at least showed last time out the ability to stay close to the pace. Is that really his preferred running style? 2 starts back at Saratoga, he ran well, coming from slightly off the pace. His Beyer speed figures are solid, but I think he needs a little boost.
He's going to need to move up a little bit. I wonder, though, you look at some of his better races, they are when he's a little bit more forwardly placed. Now, I don't know that he's naturally some sort of a burner or a front runner, but in a race that lacks much early zip, I'd like to think that Arad's going to look at this and say, you know what, if we can get into that 2 or 3 path and sit maybe a length or two off the pace, we may have the advantage over everybody else.
Now, we normally like these turn back in distances at 7 furlongs. Third Son, however, is 1 for 18 lifetime. His lone win came against maiden claimers around 2 turns at Aqueduct over the inner dirt. I'm just not sure sprinting is his game.
I don't know that sprinting is his game, and I have to be honest, he's just the kind of horse that for me, if I'm using him, it's going to be underneath only because it's hard for me to trust you at 1 for 18.
Gorelli, 1 for 16, finished behind the aforementioned Heavy Metal last time out. But this is a horse who I think does his best running over a wet track.
Yeah, you look at it, the only lifetime win came over a wet track, and he's been in the finished in the money anyway, 3 out of 5 lifetime on a wet surface. I don't think he's fast enough, and I don't want him.
Let's take a look at our top selections for Wednesday's Formulator Race of the Day. You want the horse that's unexposed, the horse with all of the upside. It's 4th-time starter, number 9, Rock Doc.
I think he's just strictly the horse to beat on so many different fronts. That outside post is going to be beneficial. He's got a little bit of tactical speed. I think Luis Saez is going to get him into the running. Maybe let the 1 and the 2 go, sit just off of them. The most recent start, I know, maybe he didn't beat a lot. He had a little bit of a minor bobble out of the gate. The Wizard came back and really didn't run well at all with a 56 Buyer. But you note that the top 2, they were 5 clear of the rest of the field. I thought he ran very well that day. He's going to get Lasix on here. Again, maybe that's a bit of a negative or a peculiar move there because he ran so well that last time, but I just think he's way the horse to beat.
There's no doubt that he's the horse to beat, and just consider all the good work he did last time out off a 9-month layoff. You mentioned the bobble at the start, but then he showed really nice agility to get into the race, found a really good spot, tracking a solid pace duel up front, was able to get those horses, and won comfortably by a neck. You can understand why he was getting a little bit tired because of the layoff. Now he can control the race from the outside post yet again. Rock Doc 5-2 on the morning line. You're going 9, 3, 4, and 5. I'll take a shot with Bourbon Empire. This is a horse, again, who's always hinted at something. He may need a little bit more pace. I thought his last race, though, was okay at Saratoga, where he showed some late interest, galloped out well behind Heavy Metal, who you mentioned, came back to win. So he's faced some decent company. 4, 9, 3 for me in the Formulator Race of the Day for Wednesday. If you're playing the Wednesday Belmont card from home, please sign up to DRF Bets. A $300 bonus is just waiting for you at drf.com/fall, and all you have to do to access that bonus is use the promo code FALL300. Approximate post time for race number 8 at Belmont on Wednesday, 4:46 Eastern. Good luck.